And we're back for our final part of this episode. Tom Gibson here, Chuck Augustin, and we're still in Nye County. And Chuck, you had some follow-up?
We're waiting for Ray to call. I'm very worried he's going to be mad at me and I'm going to be in trouble.
Yeah, there's a rumor that if he doesn't get a call in here, that he'll shave his beard. And I don't know if that's true or not.
And shave his head. He'll become a bro. Okay, let me read a couple more on what is actually being leaked by WikiLeaks regarding.
And these are not disputed. They're complaining about them, but they're not complaining of the accuracy.
In fact, they were cut off. I won't go into that because, again, it's not WikiLeaks or Assange. It's what they're talking about. This is a quote from a Clinton email. You need to have both a public and a private position. So everything she says is a public position. When she talks to Goldman Sachs and all the bankers and that, it's a different position. Clinton, my dream is a hemispheric common market with open trade and open borders. In other words, no United States of America. It's truly a global New World Order candidate. And again, there's thousands, I think it's 33,000 emails that supposedly were missing and WikiLeaks came up with it. So if anyone has internet access, they're easy to find, but it's worth actually reading.
WikiLeaks.org, right?
Yeah, and there's millions of sites now that are publishing it.
Right. And the beautiful thing about those sites, because if you can go to WikiLeaks.org and it has this mechanism where you just type in certain key words or phrases, and it'll pull up what you're looking for. And I was pulling up Benghazi and a couple other key terms, but I got more than I could handle. It was like too much. So you have to be real selective, or have to sit down with a cup of coffee and be able to do it for the duration, because I guess what I'm trying to say is the good news is there are other people pouring through this materials. They're finding what they think is important, and they're publishing them as well, so we don't have to go through every WikiLeaks thing by ourselves.
All right, we got Barry on the phone. Barry.
Yes, sir. I just put on your station there. Okay? And I'm just saying I'm a true Democrat, been union all my born life from New Jersey. But now, as far as Democrats go today and yesteryear, to a certain degree, right, I think there's a new type of communist in Washington, D.C. I can't pinpoint it out, but there's something very strange that's going on in Washington, D.C. for the past 8 years to about 12 years. And that's all I got to say. I'd like to hear your comment.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up. Yes, the Democratic Party has changed considerably over the years, but both parties are corrupt to a point, and always have been since their inceptions. However, when it comes to what you were discussing, it's New World Order more than it is the Democratic Party falling apart. The New World Order, whatever that is, I use that as a general term. Actually, it's globalists. You have global corporations with global aspirations, and what they're looking for is making a buck. And in the 70s and 80s, there was movies that Hollywood put out, and the bad guy was always the corporation and corrupt people in government. They don't do that much anymore, and now it's they've gotten away from that. I don't know why that 20, 30 years ago, that was the vogue, and now it's no longer. But they did correctly identify the real problem was corporate globalism, and because the bottom line is corporations can make more money if they have an open world market. But with an open world market and the profits that the globalists enjoy, you have to also then eliminate borders, because borders and geographic and national borders impede the flow of commerce, but that's not necessarily a bad thing, because because with that flow of commerce is you have the people moving cheaper labor. And as example is how many corporations in America after NAFTA and the other free trade treaties were filed and signed. They moved their manufacturing bases from the United States and moved them over to India, Pakistan, now Vietnam, where they have very, very cheap labor. China, for instance. And so what's happened is that with the labor gets cheaper, the product gets cheaper, but then at the same time, then the wages go down across the board because there's nobody here in America to manufacture anything anymore. So yes, we're buying cheaper goods that are from overseas, but we don't make anything ourselves here. And the employers are saying, well, what do we need you for? Because I can find a guy in India that'll answer this phone for me. And no, you won't be able to understand him, but he'll work cheaper. And that's part of the problem with globalism is the cheapening of wages and labor, but it's also at the cost of people's being able to maintain a decent lifestyle.
Yeah, are you still there, Barry?
Yeah.
I've been researching this stuff since 1991 when I retired from the military and kind of said, what in the world is going on? None of this makes sense. And one of the best books I ever read on what the future will hold as far as economics is called The Struggle for World Power. And it basically lays out everything Tom said about how this global one world government or global economy is going to take away the buying power, which actually makes a capitalistic society work. Henry Ford used to have no problem paying his employees a great salary because they were the ones buying the cars. Well, if you're not paying the great salaries, who's going to buy the cars? And so it's this whole plan that we're living through, and to me, we have to defeat it for our kids and our grandkids. It's designed to be a socialistic / communistic economic situation.
Sort of like how China is right now. China is a communist country, and yet they are a world power when it comes to manufacturing and God, what's my train of thought? They're kind of a hybrid now with capitalism and socialism, or actually communism. But the bottom line is, well, the government still controls every facet of the Chinese life. That's the real big difference. Now the Chinese people have tremendous consumer power within their own country, but it's still controlled and manipulated by the government of China. And although China is not a New World Order organization, they're just the opposite. They don't want the New World Order. And same thing with Russia. That's why the United States government has always, over the last 30 years, is demonized Russia and China the way they have, is because they don't fall into the model that the American New World Order has been produced. And the New World Order that America follows is European and American mainly, with also South America and Australia and certain countries in Africa also involved. But their biggest threat is literally they, as in the New World Order, the threat to them is China and Russia, because without them, then there's going to be competition, and they're not going to be able to complete what they intend.
Barry, you got anything else?
Just one good comment. I'm afraid the 50s are going out of style. That's for number one. I hate to see another 10 to 20 years from now for the younger generation, and especially the uneducated persons, okay? And I see a lot of changes from 1975 on up with the ASVAB test just to get in the military, when they knocked out the old ABC battery test to get in the military. Mm-hmm. And that's why you have an army on the street, one of them, right there and then. So if you could save one kid out of 100, they're doing a good job.
Right.
But I hate the future. At least I was part of the 50s. And the one thing I can say is this: I feel sorry for this country in the near future.
I agree with
you. It's a good show that you have on every week, and I'm going to start watching it.
Thank you very
Okay,
much.
but we're only on this,
year,
our segment of this, with Chuck and I, we're only on every third Tuesday of the month. Nye County is on every week, so if you're looking for us in particular, you'll have to wait another month to hear us.
Okay, thanks, Barry. Let me throw out one thing to think about. In the book 1984 by George Orwell, there was a perpetual war between three entities. I feel China, Russia, and America are those three entities. I feel they are the New World Order. I think we're being conned into believing all this media about Russia and China and what's going on. I think everything is a con. Now, that's my own feeling. I have no proof, but I don't believe for a minute basically we're in DEFCON 3 and the button's ready to be pushed. I think that's just a control society.
I agree. I believe that, because how do you control people? Through fear.
Right.
Fear and manipulation. And more people are easily controlled by fear than they are any other emotion.
And we do. We live in a constant state of anxiety and fear.
And anger too.
Yeah.
People are. As a matter of fact, I've never seen anything like it this election cycle. And the people are the average American voter. I mean, I'm getting like people that threaten me on Facebook, and I mean, just threaten me, and I threaten all other people too, just because we don't agree with them.
Okay, David, we only got 2 minutes left. What do you got, real quick?
Okay, I just wanted to bring up one. Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring up one point with this global everything else. The raising of the minimum wage here in the United States is ridiculous because it's going to make everything else go up even further. My thing is reduce the cost of living, and then that's when people will really make their money. You know, the cost of living keeps going up. You raise the minimum wage, and then all of a sudden everything's going to go up higher and higher. It's getting ridiculous.
Right. Okay, David, thanks a lot. We got to cut you off. We're down to like 30 seconds. So that's pretty much it. We appreciate the calls.
Thank you, and join us again next month on Nye County with Chuck and Tom.